Okay, real talk for a second. Have you ever been at a party, a social gathering, or even just walking down the street and spotted someone you really wanted to talk to? Maybe someone who seemed super interesting, or even just a stranger you thought it would be cool to connect with, but you just couldn't bring yourself to start the conversation. I get it. I've been there. It's that moment when your mind goes completely blank, and you feel like your heart's about to race out of your chest, and all you want to do is shrink into the wall behind you. You look around hoping for an escape route, and before you know it, the moment passes. Sound familiar? But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. Starting conversations, even with strangers, doesn't have to be awkward, and it doesn't have to feel like you're walking into a lion's den. In fact, with the right mindset and a few simple tools, you can easily turn that moment of uncertainty into something that could actually lead to a cool connection. So, in today's video, we're diving into how to start conversations with literally anyone, even total strangers, whether you're at a coffee shop, a party, or even in the grocery store. Trust me, these tips work for any social situation. So, grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's dive into the art of starting conversations and building real connections without feeling like you're putting yourself out there too much. First, let's be honest. Starting a conversation can feel intimidating, right? But here's the good news. Everyone has been in your shoes. Even the most outgoing people had to start somewhere. I mean, they didn't just pop out of the womb chatting it up with everyone in sight. But what separates people who seem comfortable in social situations from those of us who get a little nervous or self-conscious is practice and mindset. If you understand how conversations flow and learn how to approach them with a certain mindset, you'll realize that it's way easier than you think. Plus, it's all about making those little adjustments that'll feel natural in the moment. Before you know it, talking to strangers will be second nature. Now, I know you might be thinking, that's great, but I'm not the most outgoing person. What if I freeze up or say something awkward? I feel you. I've definitely had those moments where I say something and immediately want to crawl under a rock. But here's the thing. Most people don't remember those awkward moments as much as we do. Seriously. And if you approach a conversation with genuine curiosity and openness, you've already won half the battle. Let's start with the right mindset. This is the key to feeling more confident in any conversation. Think about it. When you walk into a room, what's your first thought? Is it, I hope I don't mess this up? Or, I wonder what I can learn from the people here today? If you're leaning more towards the first thought, you're definitely not alone. But here's the shift I want you to make. Shift from worrying about how you'll come across to focusing on how you can engage and connect with others. Here's a secret. People love to talk about themselves. So if you can give someone the opportunity to share something they're passionate about, or just let them talk about their day, you've already opened a door to a conversation. And the best part? You don't have to do much work. You can sit back, listen, and ask questions, which will keep the conversation flowing smoothly. That leads me to my next point. The simplest way to start a conversation is by observing what's happening around you and asking a question based on that. For example, let's say you're standing in line at a coffee shop. You can ask someone, "Hey, have you tried their special today?" It's not rocket science, right? You don't need to have a script or a rehearsed line. You just need to notice something about the environment you're in. If you're at a party, maybe it's the music, the food, or the vibe of the room. So, how do you know the host is another perfect icebreaker at a party? It's casual, it's natural, and it opens up the door for the other person to talk. And here's the kicker. When you ask questions, don't be afraid to dig a little deeper. People love to share personal stories or details about what they care about, but sometimes you need to ask follow-up questions to keep the conversation going. So if they mention a hobby, a trip they took, or a book they're reading, ask them what they love about it. Or maybe, what inspired you to start doing that? That simple follow-up is how you turn a brief exchange into a deeper conversation. Now here's where a lot of people get tripped up. We're afraid of saying the wrong thing. I get it. It's like this tiny little voice in our heads that's saying, what if they don't like me? What if I sound dumb? But here's a huge piece of advice. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to be perfect in every conversation. The truth is, conversations are messy. They're spontaneous, they're unpredictable, and they're supposed to be fun. If you make a mistake or say something that feels awkward, don't sweat it. A lot of times, the other person won't even notice. And if they do, they're probably not going to judge you for it. They've probably been in the same situation themselves. One of the best things I ever learned was that conversations aren't about impressing someone. They're about connecting. So if you say something a little silly, just laugh it off. If you're genuine and approachable, the other person will appreciate your authenticity. I want to take a quick detour and talk about body language because, honestly, this is huge. Have you ever talked to someone who just looks totally closed off? Their arms are crossed, they're not making eye contact, and they're backing away from you with every word you say? It's awkward, right? Well, guess what? Other people pick up on your body language too. If you walk into a conversation with your arms crossed or your shoulders hunched, you're not exactly giving off a "come talk to me" vibe. Here's the trick. Open your body language. Keep your posture relaxed, make eye contact, and face the person you're talking to. Smile. It sounds simple, but it works wonders in making you seem approachable. I know it can feel uncomfortable at first, but with practice, you'll feel more natural. If you want to come across as confident, even if you're a little nervous, these little tweaks in your body language go a long way. I know. Silence can feel like the enemy during a conversation, especially when you're talking to someone new. But I promise, a little silence isn't the end of the world. In fact, it's pretty normal. Sometimes we panic when there's a pause, and we feel like we have to fill it with words. But remember, silence can be golden. It gives both you and the other person a chance to process thoughts, think of something new to say, or even take a deep breath. And if you're not sure what to say next, just ask another question. It doesn't have to be complicated. If you're feeling stuck, just ask about their day or their thoughts on a shared experience, whether it's the weather or the event you're at. Let's face it, not every conversation is going to go perfectly, and not every person is going to want to chat. And that's okay. You're not going to click with everyone you meet, and that's just part of the process. So, if someone seems disinterested or gives short answers, don't take it personally. It could be that they're just not in the mood to talk, or maybe they're distracted. Don't let it affect your confidence. Just smile, say something like, "Nice talking to you," and move on. The more you practice starting conversations, the easier it gets, and the more you put yourself out there, the more you'll learn about how to connect with different types of people. So, to wrap it all up, starting conversations with strangers doesn't have to be hard. It's about shifting your mindset, asking simple questions, being open and approachable, and not stressing out about being perfect. If you walk into every conversation with the goal of connecting and learning something new, you'll find that not only do you get better at talking to people, but you also start building some really meaningful connections along the way. Now, I want you to try it out. Next time you're at a coffee shop, a party, or even just in line somewhere, take a deep breath, look around, and ask someone a simple question. Start small, and before you know it, you'll be starting conversations with anyone. No problem. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips on social skills and building real connections. Until next time, keep practicing, keep connecting, and keep being awesome. You've got this.